Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning.
Well, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome back, everybody. I feel like I'm so used to being in the front room where I have to yell, and we're coming to you from the green room at Fluid 510 with the latest episode of the series of Fortunate Events podcast, brought to you by who? It's still me, MeMeCherry, and I am joined today by drag performer, producer, co-creator / founder of Oaklash, creator of Tragic Queendom. It's Miss Beatrix Lahaine. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. How are you?
Good. Tired. Even after I'm still coming down from Oaklash and just like all the Pride and now Dory Alley events.
Happy Dory.
I know. Straight into summer camp, then Folsom, and it's like the year is just like nonstop now. I feel like I'm just working full time and trying to have like a drag life, after that too, and it's exhausting.
I can relate. I'm burning the candle on 5 ends, and I don't think a candle can have 5 ends. Well, we're coming to you, like I said, from the green room in Fluid 510. You've spent many a time in a green room.
Yeah, not this one. This is
what do we rate this?
I would say this is up there with like Oasis. Like there's a mirror, you can do your makeup here. There's just
2 mirrors.
I know. No.
You don't have to sit on a stack of toilet paper.
True. You don't have to. I mean, you're not in the actual like back bar. Doing like getting ready next to like a bunch of sliced limes and no, this is cute. I love it.
Nice. Well, I want to first of all acknowledge what I'm calling now the secret drinking game, which will definitely get you smashed if you're playing today, which is anytime in my crumble opinion
Gag.
or Oaklash is mentioned. And if you are doing como se dice, a marathon of SOFE pod, please stay hydrated. So let's get into, I know that you're an Oakland native. You're actually one of those few in the Bay Area. The Bay Area is very transplant friendly. Most of us are transplant. I'm a transplant. My intern / minion's a transplant. Your co-founder is a transplant, but you're a cute little native.
Yeah.
You started drag after seeing Trixie at Beau in 2015.
Yep.
You said, and I quote from In Her Crumble Opinion, if Trixie can do that, so can I.
Yeah, it was wild because I never thought of like drag as like a thing people went to go see. The only reason I even like at the time knew Drag Race was a thing was because I would watch The Soup. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And I would just like come on every week and just like the ridiculousness of it.
I didn't know they were showing Drag Race on The Soup.
Yeah, certain clips, and I was like,
Cute.
oh, this is like ridiculous. But like having binged all seasons during quarantine,
Yes.
I'm just like, I'm quoting it. I'm just like, I'm that obnoxious Drag Race stan. I'm at a good point. I'm not like bullying all the girls online like everybody else, but
You're not Lux Noir London yet.
No.
Or Alaska.
no, not yet.
Well, that's cute. So tell me about why, besides you thinking that you could do it better than Trixie, why drag? Why did you go down the little drag rabbit hole?
I never said I could do it better than Trixie.
I'm putting words in her mouth.
No, please. Yeah. Start those rumors.
In my cunty opinion.
I chose Beatrix because it's Trixie and it's just like a whole vengeance thing for no reason.
I'm pretty sure you said I could do it better than her.
No, I said I can do that.
Okay.
I said I can do that.
Okay. I probably in my mind made it better.
Starting drag feuds, I love it.
Yes. I'm gonna get up in the ranks one way or another.
No,
but okay, so
again?
you're not better than Trixie. No. Why drag? That's the question.
Well, because I started studying acting, and then that led to like clown and physical theater.
Yes.
And it was just kind of like coinciding with meeting Mama Dora, who like led me to go to the Stud and see Meow Mix, and just like my second time actually seeing Hollow Eve on stage. I was like, they were like mind blowing. This is like way before Dracula, and I got to know them and so many other performers, and it was just like a not rotating. It was like the same cast every week. So I just said like, hey, I want to do this. I just thought I was going to do it once or twice.
Yeah.
And they're like, pretty soon it was like every week. And I was like, okay, I'm trapped. Not like trap, but I'm like, this is like a good trap to fall into. You're just like having a theme every week. And it just, I don't know, like, maybe it's the Capricorn in me. It's like, oh, there's a challenge. There's like this thing.
Yeah.
There's a theme. I have to like find out, okay, this song, this number, this whatever. And it was like, okay, I'm getting into debt from acting school or whatever. I might as well like put it to good use.
Yes.
And I was like not making, like, I didn't know people got paid for it too. So I was like, oh, I'm, back then, pre like drag being like, super popular and in demand and people getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Like I was making like $5, a night every Tuesday. And I was like, oh,
This is great.
I know, this is great. Like, this is going to go to the late night bus that I have to take
I
all
was
the way back to
that's
Oakland.
the bus fare.
Yeah. $6 after. Yeah.
That Trans Bay bus line, man, I'm very familiar with it.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was, taking that late night bus home and then taking the other one all the way back to East Oakland. So it was like a 2-hour,
traverse.
Yeah, and I was getting home at 4 and then had to go to work at 10.
Oh
with, like,
my god.
Makeup still on my face. But eventually they fired me. With good reason, I'm sure. But also fuck
You're
them.
welcome.
Yeah. No.
I remember that you were saying that at last year's block party you had a whole speech of like, and I used to work at that Sweet Green.
Right over there.
Yes, and if they hadn't fired me, I wouldn't be doing this. You're welcome.
No, being fired, I don't know. Something about like, that's where like that weird like fate thing comes into my mind. I'm like, oh, like, something bad happens, but that led to
You pivot.
Yeah, like that led to me doing Tragic Queendom because it was like nobody'd ever done Gwen Stefani, and I was
Nobody
like,
ever.
No, like I was like looking at shows like
Well, like for real, nobody had done Gwen Stefani.
I to my recollection, no, like it was always just like the regular divas, like Madonna, Gaga, and I was like, you know what? I want to be on a microphone. Like I had been on a microphone at MeMeCherry once, and I was like, I want to do more of it. I love being, talking shit and like trying to like be a comedian. So
I like the try.
Right. And I was like, it was as simple as being like making a Facebook post like, all right, I have this idea. I want to do it. Does anybody know what else to do?
Yeah.
And people were just like offering suggestions of like which bar, where to get the money to like start it up, if they need to like rent a space or whatever. But I got in touch with the people at the Nightlight, which is now, well, it was not El Rio. I keep confusing it for El Rio.
El Rio's in San Francisco.
I know, but there was like another bar that's the Valencia room now.
Yeah.
Something.
El Cabrón.
Yeah.
No.
But it was as easy
because
as like,
Esta Noche was also San Francisco.
Right. That was before I went out. But that was before I, started meeting gay people.
Yeah.
Like that was also another reason I, fell into drag. It was like a good way of meeting like, queer people because I had never like made queer friends before 2015. It was I was just, watching Looking, and that was my experience of like queer life. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's cute. That boy has to choose between like the hot British guy and the hot Latino guy. And
so you were looking through the fishbowl for a long time, and then you finally started swimming with the fishes.
That part, and now it's like, which hot guy am I going after now?
What was it? No Loads Refused?
That part. That was one of the themes for MeMeCherry. That was like my first MeMeCherry theme. It was like No Loads Refused, and that was the first time I ever heard it. And so I just didn't know like that's what it meant. So I was like, okay, laundry themed. Great. This is drag.
I love that. I love No Loads Refused and coming out with a laundry basket, your hair in rollers. So you mentioned clowning. There's another performer in the Bay Area that you have that in common with, which is Lisa Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. Tell me about you. I'm fascinated because I was, again, watching Drinking Game in her criminal opinion. And Lisa was talking about clowning, but she, in the most Lisa way, with the most beautiful face, made it sound like the darkest, most deep art pursuit ever. That it's like you put on a happy face in front of the sad face. No matter, no regardless, because at least as a drag performer, if you're having a shitty day, you can almost take it out on your on your audience.
Yeah.
I've seen it. But you can't do that as a clown.
Well, you can.
Oh, tell me.
No, well, yeah, clown is like very dark.
Yeah.
Like something about it. Like my teacher, who's like my clown dad, me and Cheetah Biscotti share the same clown dad. We went to the same workshop.
So there's clown families just like there's
Yeah.
drag families? Oh my God, that's cute.
This is way like right before I started doing drag, and like a few years before she started doing drag. And our clown dad is like kind of a psycho. He's like a hippie, like weird, like in the best possible way, like weirdo. He's just like, yeah, clown is just like, you know, making fun of yourself for others, and then, you know, there's just like so much like goes behind. It was like very psychedelic, like trippy, like this is
Existential.
ancient, you know, like, you know, ritual, like dating back to the Stone Ages. Like, you know, just imagine like the first clown being like this caveman who had like a bush as a mask and like whatever. I'm like, that is just like, like it. He takes it seriously in like a way where I'm like, I could take, like, it's kind of serious, but it's also not serious at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so stupid that I really loved it.
Yeah, it's interesting because the only other reference that I can think of immediately that I know of is another como se dice, foundational people in terms of me, my podcast journey is Keith and Hamda, back in the beginning days of their podcast 18 years ago, back before where computers were even around then. One of their day jobs was being children's party clowns. But their version was more like the face painting and the ballooning, and it never felt existential with them. But watching Lisa and now you describe it, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, and when I started, like my early years, you know, of just not knowing what the hell I'm doing with makeup, and just I was really more focused on, you know, the number and just how to captivate an audience. Like, you know, a lot of the exercises were power plays or like status plays. Like you have another person with you, how can you like outshine them, or but just by doing nothing, or like seeing what you could do to get an audience's attention, and yeah, just like be present on stage. Like that was just like the weird, like mind-blowing thing of it. Some of it was just, can you stand on stage and like captivate an audience
while doing nothing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes it just got physically like ouchy and mentally ouchy. Like there'd be like, especially like a lot of the acting stuff, even though like I think a certain school that I went to in San Francisco is just like a scam. Like, you know, like I would rather just advise people to like go to like
do a different one.
Yeah, a different one, or
different
like
one.
some like a workshop, some kind of like something that's not like, you know, where you have to take out a loan or anything, or have somebody co-sign. But what I did learn from like those acting workshops and clown workshops, or just, you know, a lot of it was how to be on stage, because I feel like a lot of people just need to learn that. Even now, it's just like people on a microphone, people doing drag. I don't know. That's why.
Does any of that resonate with you, Minion?
Oh no, I grew up in Oakland School for the Arts, and I've been doing theater since my first lead role was Danny in like elementary school, doing musical theater. And I feel like our theater knowledge is what allows us to dominate so much, and to know how to mark the stage and also mark the audience and all that mental back loop. But I was just curious, without bringing up any spoilers for next season or whatever, but if you felt or just pondering that Jimbo's win might evolve Drag Race now that we've had a first clown to actually win the show, without revealing, but if more monster drag might become more acceptable, because we haven't really seen that clownery, I felt like, since Shangela in season 4, and then now Jimbo with the sperm cookie monster and all that. Do you think more monster drag has a more open field in Drag Race after our queen clown?
Good question.
Yeah, they are like such a clown. When I check into Drag Race, I have to like think of it as like one thing, but like that is very true. Like Jimbo is like the first clown to win Drag Race, and I want to see more of it. And like the Dragula drag, you know, if that show wasn't like so marketed towards just like Halloween or something, if there was like something about it always feels like it's that.
It's like the Halloween store that comes around once a year, taking over. Yeah, the spirit. Yeah, that takes over like an empty lot and then disappears after the season's over.
Yeah, I want to see more of it. I feel like if it were marketed to like, I mean, it doesn't have to be Halloween. A lot of holidays are really scary naturally. Easter,
Yeah.
pastels.
Valentine's.
Ooh, yeah,
Ooh.
My Bloody Valentine kind of
Yes,
scenario.
yes.
No, I want to see lots more of that. And I have an oh my god, I have opinions on Dracula in general.
In her cunty opinion.
But I'm a nobody, so it's
You're
whatever.
somebody to me.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions. I don't know.
Are you gonna keep them to yourself?
Maybe after my second drink.
Well, I feel like that. Excuse me. It's the weed. Also make that a drinking game every time I cough. That kind of dovetails a little bit into my next question for you, which is what you think the state of the union of the current Bay Area drag scene might be, if you'd rather share opinions there.
It's becoming bigger.
Yeah.
There's another renaissance of like, I don't even know how to say it, because I think post quarantine, there's just, I never thought I would know so many people doing so much great shit, like Nikki Jizz, Tito, Celeste, and Florida, and so many other people. And that drag would be like such a thing, like after Tragic Queendom, after, first, second Oaklash, I don't know, like it's growing and it's becoming more popular. It's becoming so unpopular in a way. I don't know. I think because people are hating on drag, it just makes it more exciting to do.
Yeah.
Which low key, I'm like, okay, like, we're going to be looking back on this. And I just keep thinking back to like people in the 60s and 70s who just started doing, the stuff that they wanted. And it was so, what's the word? Just like politicized.
Yeah. Radical.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I never thought drag, like I always thought drag was like radical in some kind of, but like now it's nationally
it's
radical.
Always been political, but it's extra political now.
Yeah, for like
it's
the
politicized
weird reason. Yeah.
now. It's always been political, but it's being politicized now.
And like for the weirdest reasons.
Yeah.
Like now I'm like, oh, this is
it's
just
boogeyman
like,
era.
yeah. Like people talk about drag who've like never been to a drag show as if, like, I don't know. It's so weird. Like people who just like have all the information in their hands, not willing to see that. Yeah, we're not like, abducting children at drag shows and like doing this weird shit that.
Well, it's the lens that was put on gay people that like for a lot of people now, because they realize that they have somebody in their family that's gay, or they know somebody who's gay, or whatever. They watched Will and Grace, and for whatever reason that made them okay with gay people. But now that lens is put on, drag performers, because the whole groomer, whatever bullshit, that was kind of like the boogeyman aspect of gay people back in, the 80s and the 90s. And it's interesting because I was listening today to when I had Mama Celeste, your partner, founder for Oaklash, last time on the podcast. We were talking then that back then I used to go to the Peaches Cry storyteller shows, and people in those shows were talking about running around and doing all the shit that we're doing now, but doing it in the 90s and their stories then. And like, I feel like we're now running around and doing our clownery, our buffoonery, but also I feel, in my opinion, that the current state of drag is more community focused than ever. Because I've been bopping around in these streets and talking to people and hanging out with folks, but I never felt this much community as I do now. And I wonder if part of that is a reaction to the threat that we do have to come together and love up on each other that much more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's also just takes me back to when I started it. Like, that was how I made friends, and just going to drag shows like Meow Mix at the Stout, or like even Aunt Charlie's. It was like people were just they weren't focused on like, oh, I need to do this show because I need to get paid. Like we weren't making any money from those shows.
Yeah,
and it was just like a cute weekly thing of like getting together, performing, what you had in your mind, and just like being free on stage and just sharing that with your friends. And now it's just like an even bigger thing of like, every week there's like something happening, like every day almost. I mean, not as much as there was back then, but, or I guess there is, but I'm so old now that I'm not there. I work at 6 a.m. now. So I'm like, right after this, I have to like go home and go to sleep. I'm so old.
Same. Same. Yeah, you're kind of, I feel like you would be the sophomore to what I'm calling the freshman class that's been on the pod recently, that they all kind of started around the same time, which is like Amora, Phoebe, but then I feel like you were part of the same classes like Nikki and obviously Mama. But it's interesting to see how much everybody has evolved. And then your show was a big part of some of the people that are big in the scene now. They credit Tragic Queendom is where they were cutting their teeth. So tell me about a little bit more about Tragic Queendom and like what, I know that you mentioned that you weren't hearing Gwen Stefani. And so that was part of the inspiration and you just wanted to put something together. And actually it makes me think that you mentioned that you're a Capricorn. And to me, Capricorns were we climb a mountain, but then like we look around and look for the next mountain to climb.
True.
And so was it Queendom like one of those mountains for you?
Yeah, it's weird to think that it's, you know, I talk about it now like how people would talk about, you know, T-Shack or just like stuff like that. And like I even find it hard to believe that I had, you know, Drag Queen of the Year, Nikki Jizz, doing her first wig reveal ever on stage at the first Tragic Queendom, you know, and Lisa Frankenstein's drag debut. I don't know. That's like confirmed, right? I feel like
she said it in Crumble. And
yeah.
Please don't drink every time I say it. But yeah, she mentioned it in Crumble. I was just watching it.
And I just didn't have a concept of like having it become a thing. I just thought, again, it was like that. I had this idea. I wanted to do it once and then move on to the next mountain or something. But people loved the first one so much. Like that night was so crazy. We sold out like for 250 people, I guess, at the Nightlight. And it was just like, I was like in shock because I just kind of never at that point accomplished something like that.
Yeah.
Just from being like, all right, you know, like I'm not like the most, like even now, I'm not the most organized person. So I just had like,
what?
I know. While I was unemployed, I just had like so much free time to like, okay, here are these performers. Here's the theme. Here's an email. Here's a DJ. And I wanted to do it. You know, keep it simple. It just became a thing and then happened every month. I know it's still wild to think. Like even now we're still doing it, but at the Stork Club.
Yes, the Stork Club. Well, I have one more deep dive that I want to do with you before we start playing our fun little games. But we're going to take a quick little commercial break. And I don't know, maybe like hold pinkies while we take a commercial break. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, pinkies. No.
In my crumble opinion. Hi, I'm Phoebe Cakes, and you're tuning in to In My Crumble Opinion. Hello, my little crumb whores. Hi, my little crumb dumpsters. Hello, my little crumb guzzlers. Welcome, my little crumb dumpsters. Hello, my little crumb guzzlers. Hello, my little crumb hungry sub pigs. Hello, my little crumb buckets. Hello, my little cum lovers. Oh my god, I said cum lovers. Hello, my little crumb lovers. Go ahead and like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow me on all social media platforms.
Oh my god, that was so gay.
Yeah, that was gay. Once again, I am Phoebe Cakes. In my crumble opinion.
And we're back. No.
In my crumble opinion.
I'm telling you, this podcast, I give all my flowers to Phoebe and Angel. They made me low-key a little jealous, and I was like, I want to go play with my friends.
I mean, I'm kind of mad only because, and I probably should have just like texted them, but I'm like, what's going on with Spotify? Like they're not, those episodes aren't on, or maybe I just have to like physically look on, because I don't know what's going on with Crumble.
I told Angel, I've consulted with you before. I'm happy to consult again. Ownership is everything. You don't want to have Spotify hosting your pod because then they own it. But that's a conversation for another day. And again, shout out Keith and the Girl because they taught me the power of ownership of your content. Because one of these days, this will be worth a lot of money, and I will sell it to somebody. And you're welcome. So one of the amazing, I feel like you are able to capture lightning in a bottle that wants to stay in a bottle, and I feel like Tragic Queendom going beyond one night is an example of capturing the lightning in the bottle and keeping it. And I feel like oak lash is the other example of catching lightning in a bottle and then keeping it in the bottle. And then the bottle gets bigger because the lightning gets bigger.
Yeah.
I did a deep dive today. I've been to every single oak lash in person except for the 2021 one because that was the fully digital one, but I was there in spirit digitally.
Yeah.
But I did a deep dive because I basically was taking pictures at almost every single one
Yeah.
from the beginning, and then my position elevated over time. And so I wanted to do a little bit of a memory lane visit. I will just bring out a year. I'll just mention some things that bubbled up to the top to me, and then you can tell me any highlights. Let's go rose and thorn for each year.
Okay.
So 2018 was the founding year. And so I was looking through the pictures, and I have pictures of Erica Clash, which was amazing. I'm pretty sure that's how I got her on the pod. A controversial member of the community, a certain woo.
Oh yeah.
Kai Kai. That's when I was first bopping around and getting to know Kai Kai. I have the sweetest pictures of Florida with her mom.
Yeah.
So it's Florida and mom. Vanilla Meringue. This was again like beginning era of Vanilla Meringue. This was the first time I saw Mary Vice and her sweet butt. Jota Mercury with their tiny hat reveal. Rock'em Sakura, who went on to be on Drag Race. Mad Dog 2020 with their White Lines performance that will always be stuck in my head. And Scarlet Letters making herself Miss Oaklash 2017.
Current reigning. It's
Yeah,
been
current reigning.
5-6 years of Scarlett being Little Miss Oaklash.
Yes. So what comes to mind when you think of that first year of Oaklash?
Look, I think of how, again, it was just like, I remember Celeste coming up to me at some show. I think it was at the Stud, and we were both drunk. She's like, how do you feel about starting a drag festival? And I was like, yes, I know exactly where to get the money. I know where to have it. Like, I just had like, I just keep I look at all the exits or entrances, like in the
You're a big
opposite
picture person.
Yeah. So I was like, if we're going to do this, I know exactly where to have it. I know, my nonprofit that is now Oaklash is going to give us the seed money for it.
And you drafted the first logo, no?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I was bored at one of my nonprofit meetings, and I'm just like, yeah, if you know me, if you're on the board of Oaklash or like any other meeting I've ever been to, I'm doing two things at once, mostly just doodling, scruffing, and whatever. I know. That's where I get my best ideas. And I was just like literally Googling because we were coming up with the names, and I thought Oaklash because like nobody else could come up with anything. At first it was going to be Trish Fest.
That tracks.
Yeah. We're like, no, we don't want Trish like necessarily associated with with me.
Yeah.
No. So I was like, okay, fine. I get it. So I thought Oaklash, we have Wigwood, we have, Wigstock, we have
A bushwig.
Yeah. And so I was like doodling just freehand. I was like, oh, I love, the Paris Metro font. And so I was like trying to like freehand something like that. And it's like that first draft was like the official, and still is like the official Oaklash logo.
Yeah. I have the most amazing pictures of that first Oaklash with the big giant letters behind you. That's still, is it the same letters that get used to this day? That's amazing. I love that. So then we fast forward to 2019. And this is what stood out to me. Meatball on the Lime scooter, breaking a heel and running over a rat. Beefcake says that they're the rat that survived. It was the second time at Classic Cars West, but was that the year that it was supposed to be somewhere else, but at the last minute it got canceled?
Yeah, it was at a different venue, but they had an issue with their
permits.
Yeah. One of those permits. And so by the grace of God, we just like literally a week before, I think, hit up Classic Cars West being like, can we come back and do this? Like, and they were just like so happy to have us because like the first time was just like such a thing that they're like, do whatever you want, like come here and just do it again. And so that happened. And that day I don't remember anything because I was hella drunk and blacked out.
So I have a few things on my list. Classic Cars West, the afterkey at the Port Bar, the sister venue to the Fluid 510 that we're at right now. It was the first time I met Sissy Slays. It was the first time that I saw Princess Panocha. We can thank Oaklash for Princess Panocha still bopping around Soma. It was the first time that I saw Hennessy Williams. It was the first time I saw Phoebe. And a certain sweet angle. I called it her AOC Gumby moment because you totally turned into Gumby. And I just remember I was sitting there with my camera and I just kept, and then like, just you just see B just like, oh, teeter-tottering, like almost falling off the stage. And you just see like the crowd like gently, not so gently, pushing AOC because that's who B was dressed as. Yeah. So I call it your Gumby AOC moment.
Gumby AOC. No, that tracks.
And that was the year that you and Mama got married?
Yeah. Day after.
Yeah. And to this day, Peaches still thinks that you're together, allegedly.
True. No, I think because I have such a dry tone and sense of humor that backstage, she was like, oh, and Celeste and you are partners? I was like, yeah, we're going to get married or whatever. And she took it so seriously.
Oh, Peaches, I love you. I'm so excited to see Peaches at Fat Slut on Friday.
Yes.
That is iconic. What a booking coup. So we fast forward to 2020. Oh, wait. And so like Rose Thorn of the first and second year.
First year, Rose was, I think that was like my first time wearing a lace front.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like orange floofy one from Laundrette. My first lace front, and I did
Shout
not
out
glue it down.
Tips.
Yeah. Thank you, Grandma. Thorn, I don't know. It was just like, I didn't think anything could go wrong because I expected everything to go wrong and it just didn't, like I was expecting like something bad to happen at each moment, but then I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like I'm very like, whatever happens, show must go on.
Yeah.
2019, Rose was, I guess, just doing it again, having like a bigger lineup, seeing Meatball, who I just, like, that's a podcast I listen to like every, Sloppy Seconds is so good.
Sloppy Seconds.
No, I listen to that all the time now. And Thorn, I guess blacking out and
Your Gumby moment.
forgetting to host the rest of the stage on Saturday.
It was iconic. So then we fast forward to 2020,
God.
I call the apocalypse Oaklash, that I was there, and that was 7th West, and Oasis.
Yeah.
And that was the apocalypse Oaklash. That's when the fires were happening in California. The sky was orange. We were all masked up still because of COVIDina. The computers were literally melting. Like we were having to put umbrellas and fans on the computers because they were literally melting. And we were streaming this show because it was a stream because of 2020. Nobody could come to the show in person. All you had was performers in the audience, basically, and husbands and husbands of performers. So when I think of 2020, I think apocalypse Oaklash. That's when I fell in love with Nikki Jizz because Nikki Jizz was busting her ass, and just also watching her love up on her partner. For some reason, it just made me fall in love with Nikki Jizz. It was the first time that I saw Vera, who was just on the pod. It was the first time that I saw Holden, sweet Holden. First time I saw Lotus Boy, who I'm also hoping to get on the pod. First time I saw Sally Limon. Yeah. And Beverly with her on stage. Yes, talk about a jab. That's the kind of jab that you want. And to me, that's like ultimate highlight for me for 2020 Oaklash. What about you, Rose and Thorn?
Rose, that my beat stayed on that entire evening. Like, thinking about it, it's like so hot. It was like literally the hottest day I've ever experienced in my life. Yeah. But yeah, like the moment I stepped out of my car to like get to the, front door of 7th West, I was like I could start immediately sweating. Yeah. It was crazy. But you took some great photos. Like I was like proud of like that beat, the outfit, the look, the wig, and whatever.
Yeah.
That was the rose.
It was very
Thorn-
apocalypse cunt.
Yeah, it was. We were just like in hazmat gear and just ready to take on the zombies and, Resident Evil style.
Yes.
Thorn, I don't know, like, yeah, COVID, like there was so much
The
against
fires.
us. Yeah. Like the whole thing was like a rose within a thorn.
Yes.
Like, we had to make the best of.
Come on, rose within a thorn.
Yeah, that's
I
a good-
like that.
That's my new like t-shirt merch logo. Rose within a thorn.
Yes. Oh my God. I have my own Oaklash themed merch. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
And we're going to get you to 2024 Oaklash, my sweets. You're going to be my superstar volunteer.
Do it.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure I'll be doing the volunteer coordinating again.
Where everybody like calls out.
That's where my merch comes in. So 2021 was the one year that I just had to be just like the other normies and just watch it on my computer screen. Was 2021 pancake year?
Pancake?
Lisa.
Oh yes.
Yes. An orange faced man.
Yeah. See, I could not stay up. I don't know. Like I was just fading because that entire process of like doing it at Oasis and just all. Yeah. I was trying to get as much sleep as possible.
Yeah.
And that was our first year technically like back-ish. Like that was our like slow, like in between digital to like in person.
Yeah.
So I was trying not to like black out again. And
no more Gumbies.
No more Gumbies. But
yeah, I remember falling asleep,
Yeah.
waking up to Lisa on the front page of Twitch, eating pancakes at like 7, 8 in the morning. And I mean, I want to say she probably broke records at that time for how long that stream was going. Mama has the exact number of how many viewers, but the number is crazy of the total number of viewers over the time that Oaklash was on Twitch. But I hope that will be the only year that I'm never there in person. Then oh, Rose and Thorn.
Rose. There's if you just felt good to be like back in like a building with like more than a handful of people, and it was like a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
It felt good to like be back with people indoors, and that was just like my first time actually like performing at Oasis on the main stage. That was like a Rose. I think performed at the Fez Room for Daughter once, but like that main stage is like so
Iconic.
Yeah, like it's crazy that again, like now I know people who like do shows at Oasis, and like it's just like this beautiful thing of eventually like I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, Nikki Giz, winner of Drag Race and Dragula.
Yes.
Somehow like I just picture that, like I'm gonna look back on it and like have so many memories of like iconic people doing amazing shit.
And it's also, if I'm not mistaken, where there was also a pivot towards the panels.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that was also very transformative for what Oaklash is today.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, when I do my elevator pitch of what Oaklash is, it started out as a silly little day party, and now it's a nonprofit organization that supports queer and trans, Black and brown performers in the Bay Area. And that's quite the evolution, my sweets. Like, you should be proud of yourself.
And now we have the Oaklash grant.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild. I still like, I can't believe that's
it's a
happening.
Yeah.
It's become such an organization that like there's so many people involved that Oaklash just doesn't feel like just me or Celeste anymore. It's just like it's
an entity.
Yeah, like I'm picturing both of us, like I don't want to say like not being part of it, but just like at some point we're just gonna be like the parents who like
hand it off to the kids.
Yeah, or like watch Oaklash, fly off the nest. And
yeah, I've had friends of mine, normies, like muggles, that are like, oh, when is Oaklash gonna go on tour? When is it gonna be Oaklash Miami? When is it gonna be Oaklash?
Miami. Oh
I
my
know.
God.
The Minion. Minion has thoughts. Does the Minion have thoughts? Minion has thoughts. Minion is over there.
Oaklash will go to Miami when DeSantis croaks. How about that?
That part, but even
because we're not risking it.
That part. No, I've never been to Florida.
Anti-black
Florida man. No, but like every time I see something happening in Florida, I'm just like, there's a lot happening.
Yeah. I forget sometimes, but also that's part of it, because to me it's just drag is also just radical and political, and we don't give a fuck. We're gonna show up.
To actually end on that note, the most beneficial thing that would come out of Oaklash going to states like Florida is us showing and teaching and actually representing for our deeper and darker brothers and sisters that outside of other places, LGBTQ people are actually a community and actually care for one another, and we could teach all those hurtful, spiteful people who are performing and who are actually headlining and running stuff to treat your other diverse siblings with the same love and respect that you give all your others who share the same ethnicity as you. That's all.
Well, that, and actually, I want to dovetail off of that, because I've also, when I do the elevator pitch and I mentioned the disabled part of what I feel like is the Oaklash mission, I've had people be like, disabled? There's disabled performers? And I'm like, yeah, and people in the audience too. So again, there's something very special and magical about Oaklash that should be spread with the world, because I feel like the world would be a better place.
Teach these other cunts.
So then we fast forward to 2022, which was the first year of the block party in Old Oakland. And that was the year that I went from being photographer volunteer to just little fairy in-person volunteer. I remember I showed up at 12 and basically left at 9 when we were breaking down, and I was supposed to be there for a 4-hour shift. And I remember at the end of the night, Evian looked at me like, I like you. I'm gonna keep you. I that year ended up staying the whole time at the 21 and up stage area.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun, but I got to see some shows, which was not the case for this year. But what was your Rose and Thorn, the first one of the big block party?
My rose was that look. I mean, just I had it in my mind. I was like, I have like two personalities that I look to when I like craft a look. It's like one, Gwen Stefani, and the other recently, I think because of quarantine, I just like listened to her music like more than ever, Marina and the Diamonds.
Yes.
Just Marina. But like that look, I was like the way she dresses on stage, I'm just like, holy shit, like she's just drag.
Yeah.
Like that high ponytail, the floofy, just like everything. I'm like, I feel so much cuntier in like a brown wig. Like, you don't have like that many, well, I guess we do, but like specifically her, she just has like such a beautiful like brunette, like almost
that
like
chestnut.
Yeah, like Selena almost. Like every time I see her, I'm like, oh my god, like she's like Fran Drescher, Selena, just gorgeous. And
as in Quintanilla, not STTs.
Yeah. Or Gomez.
Oh, the both.
Yeah. No, but I was in love with that look. Like that was like my first time wearing everything together. I just have a vision, but like as soon as I put something on, it was like, this is exactly what I envisioned. And then another rose would be like the after party. Like, wait, there was an after party at New Parish, and then there was the after party at the Washington Inn Hotel, and they love us there. Like that hotel is like so
after.
Yeah, like I stayed up until like.
Is that 5? Where the fisting tutorials happen?
No, that's 2024. If we're gonna fast forward to next year, Fist Lash.
The spinoff. So then we fast forward to this year, 2023, the second block party where I was promoted.
Yes.
Thank you, Mama, to volunteer coordinator. And next year, when you are a volunteer, you're going to get a sticker that I design that's going to look like the text messages that I got that said, I'm so sorry, I can't show up today. I have a migraine. Because that was the trend alert of that entire weekend in my text inbox.
And that's so me coded. Like that's an excuse that I would give for like not going into work or something. So good on the volunteers for taking influence from me.
Hey, I mean, self-care is self-care, but there's something that stood out to me when I was rewatching In Her Crumble Opinion, that Oaklash, pissing people off, 2 founders at a time. So I'm going to take that vibe and run with it with my merch. Because speaking of merch, I was wearing the other day one of my favorite t-shirts, which I forgot to mention it in the retrospective. And Mama says that a big part of it was the digital pivot that made people mad and they wanted to express it when they didn't get booked for Oaklash. But I didn't get booked for Oaklash. I got this t-shirt is the merch that ended up being sold the next year. which I love. But yeah, it's a vibe. I love Oaklash. Bay Area drag has helped save my life. Working with and for Oaklash has been one of those highlights, beacons of light for me. I would not be here doing this podcast if it wasn't for amazing performers like B and Mama and everybody else. So I just want to say thank you. I wish I should have brought some flowers to give you your flowers, but I'm giving you emotional flowers right now. So please take them.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go cry, throw up a little bit. No, and then we're just basically wrapping up the Barbara Walters portion of the show. But before we do that, we're gonna give the minion, and I say that with love. Do you want to come? You want to?
No, because I'm crying right now. I just wanted to give you
Then
my
let's get the
own
tears on
special
camera.
thank you, because I was really fresh off the plane from Florida, and like not even a couple weeks, I'm in Oaklash, and literally leaving a state where like I could go to jail just for wearing high heels and holding my purse on my wrist instead of like a clutch, and to come back home where I'm seeing people in wheelchairs and crutches performing and just seeing all this beautiful stuff. I just really appreciate it because our culture of drag is really something that could help this country become the beautiful home that it should be. So just thank you for your contributions in making Oaklash what it is.
I'm gonna cry now for real. Well,
Yeah.
come over here, get in the frame so we can get a little picture, so that people know the beautiful voice. So I jokingly call Sayer my minion, but Sayer is helping. Oh my god, I'm really gonna start crying now. Sayer is helping. I call this my glittery pirate ship radio. I'm grabbing your boob. I'm so sorry. This is how we lighten up the mood. See, he's no longer crying. But I just wanted to give Sayer also their flowers because they are a beautiful, beautiful human, gentle soul. He carries a big stick, but he knows how to swing it softly. So we love you for that.
Gentle giants exist. Not all of us are giants. But yeah, thank you for your contribution.
Oh, my sweet baby.
Drag saves some people's mental health.
Yeah, I've said it. Drag saved my life.
Yeah. I mean, oh gosh. I do want to say like just the journey. It's crazy because like I feel like so spoiled to be like, born and raised in Oakland.
Yeah.
I go do this thing and I just because I wanted to do it and people were so kind and to some degree like enabling. It's like enabling this bitch over here to do more. And I just I know a lot of people like I really have to check in and be like, drag is under attack, and in a lot of states people can't
Express
do this.
themselves.
Or like,
Exist.
yeah. So I don't know. I want to say who's ever watching, thank you so much. I just, yeah.
I'll wrap this section up. I sweetly joke that In My Crumble Opinion is more of an inside baseball podcast. I feel like the audience is very in tune with the scene. Mine, because it's had so many evolutions over the years and I've tapped into so many different spaces. I know that my audience, not all of them are as into the scene. And those are the people that I want to hear these stories. Those are the people that I want to be touched by Sayer's emotions, by me saying that drag saved my life, because those are the people that actually need to hear it. So thank both of you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we're going to go cry and trauma bond in the back. I'll hug Sayer for all of you. And then we're going to play some silly games. So how about that?
Yes.
Ow.
As Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signs a slew of bills that critics call a sustained right-wing attack on the LGBTQ community and personal freedom.
cam? Do you like my cam, baby?
Is it hot enough for you?
Well, you might be too young, but I'm doing an Anna Nicole reference. Trim spa, baby.
I know Paris and Nicole.
See, thank you. Exactly. They got it from Anna.
Oh. Is that Kurt Cobain's?
No. Do you want to educate our sweet minion?
And Nicole Smith was the guest model from Mahia, Texas, who married
A
is he
billionaire.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How old is he?
Howard.
Like 80, 90. Yeah.
Howard something or other.
And I don't think she ever actually got that money.
No. So what happened was Anna was a dancer, and she met Howard in the club, and she had a son, and Howard felt for her and wanted to take her away, save her. But it actually paid off for her. Well, kind of, for a minute, temporarily. So Howard swept her up. They got married. He passed away like people do. And she was in line to inherit his will, like a lot of money. And his adult children basically took her to court. And so that's kind of where she became even more of a fixture in the zeitgeist, was during that court trial. They basically, you know, just like a lot of people like Pamela Anderson, their sexuality basically gets used against them in a court of law. And she lost the case. She then was one of those, like, back in the day, first reality shows on
Very
E!
true. Like, I didn't have E back then, but I was like, yeah, that was like post Real World, but like actual
Yes.
like celebrity documentary.
Pre-Kardashian,
Yeah.
post Real World.
It was like,
Yeah,
the
around
first.
around the Whitney and Bobby era. Bobby.
yeah. And then, yeah, I just remember seeing, you know, clips of it,
Yeah.
and I was like, if that show were to be filmed now,
Oh.
it would just like be so tame.
Oh yeah.
But that started it all.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So Anna Nicole had a reality show, and at that point, she was, you know, a little bit like me. Like, I've, you know, fluctuated in terms of thickums and thinness, and so she was a little bit thicker when she started that reality show, and then she got huge off of the reality show. And so then because of that, she got a contract with Trim Spa. Trim Spa, baby. And so she comes out at the MTV Awards, and she's half her size, cracked out of her mind. Trim Spa, baby. And so that's where do you like my cam, baby?
Roll the plane. Roll the plane. Was she introducing Kanye West?
I probably.
Yeah, because then he put her in his video,
that tracks.
and she's just like, yeah, it was like another Trim Spa commercial within that music video, and she's like, roll the plane, roll the
Yes!
plane, roll the plane.
And to answer your question, oh yes, Courtney Love was who you're thinking. And so there's another iconic MTV Awards moment with Courtney Love when Madonna was getting interviewed by Kurt Loder,
Mhm.
another Kurt, and she's throwing her compact, yep, just like that. Exactly. You got it. Welcome to Pop Culture History, brought to you by B and Mimi.
Madonna looks so good in that interview too.
So
That
good.
hair.
And that's when she was a bit in the London, a bit of a British accent at that time, just a tiny
I think
bit.
she was wearing Tom
The blue-
Ford, Gucci, like
The
that,
satin
like-
blue,
Yeah.
and that pony. Yes, she was cunty.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I applaud Courtney for having the guts to do that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Courtney Love's a fucking icon. Well, speaking of icons, I have the first game in, I like to say, I'm the love child of Barbara Walters and Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen, please have me on Watch What Happens Live. I came up with a new game, and I call this Oaklash, booked or t-shirt.
Ooh, oh my God.
Are we booking them or giving them a t-shirt? And I have a range of, let's call them superstars of one ilk or another. So we're going to start with Gonzo.
T-shirt. Who's that? Wait, I don't know. Gonzo from
Muppet.
The Muppets? Oh.
I love this. T-shirt. Done. Trash. Basura.
No, that's Oscar. No.
So Gonzo.
Is Gonzo.
The Muppet.
That could easily be like somebody's name, like actually.
It probably is.
Gonzo, booked. I relate to Gonzo in certain ways.
Yeah. Okay, cute. What about the Swedish chef?
Ooh.
Maybe a cute little panel?
Yeah. A cooking panel. We need more of that.
Yeah, yeah. What about the star of the show, Kermit? Does Kermit get booked or does Kermit get a t-shirt? I feel like Kermit would be a diva.
Yeah, especially with all the news coming out about a certain celebrity. I'm just like, I picture Kermit being like a diva t-shirt.
Wait, which... Oh, okay.
No, well,
There's so many problematic people coming out now.
Oh, Twitter's blowing up recently about...
I think it might be in one of our games, so
Okay.
we'll leave it there. What about the iconic queer duo that is Bert and Ernie?
Booked as volunteers.
Yes! And you better not have a fucking migraine, you fucking Muppets. What about, and I was emulating a little bit earlier, one clash, two clash, three clash. Our count, one count.
Booked, not as a I feel like I'm, because they're so good with numbers.
At the door.
Yeah, at the door.
Yes. Holden, you have a new paid volunteer for next year. What about Miss Venti Latte herself, Ariana Grande?
Oh, yeah, I guess booked.
Yeah.
I was like, is that a Muppet? No.
That's why I said they're superstars of different ilks.
Yeah, booked. Why not?
Okay. What about was just recently in the Bay Area and was credited for 2 earthquakes? Miss Taylor Swift herself.
Ooh, t-shirt.
We're rounding out. We have 2 more contestants on our booked or t-shirt stage. What about Shania Twain?
Ooh, probably for the kickoff party. Yeah.
Oh yeah, kickoff party's cute. I like that. And what about last but not least, Gwen Stefani?
That is
T-shirt.
No.
Can you imagine?
She will be at the after party with me in the VIP room, and
Yes!
that's literally what I did this year. All at the after party, I like literally invited everybody to the after to the VIP area.
Not wearing a horse face.
I know.
Not my song. Okay. Okay. Next game. We have Slay or Fade makeup trends. What do we think about a cunty cat eye?
Cut? Oh my gosh! Wait.
Like a cat eye.
Oh.
Cat. Sorry, I was in my Madonna era.
Cat eye? I
Yeah.
love it. I still do, like, I always think I'm doing something different, but like when it comes to eyeliner, it's just like the same
Cunty cat eye.
cunty cat eye with like the almost like a fox eye. Do you do the inner corner like longer?
Ooh,
and then just like everything just
yes.
looks really just elongated.
Yes.
Yeah, that's never going out of style.
What does the fox say? Dun, 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 dun. What about bleached brows? I know, I'm so stupid. Bleached brows. What do we think?
I just don't see the point.
They're controversial.
Yeah. No, but like
Minion has thoughts.
going back to like Ariana, I was like looking at a picture. I was like, what? Like, one has to like stay a different color. Like, brown brows with like bleached hair. That's perfect. Bleached brows with like brown hair. That's perfect.
Yeah.
But like something
The
just throws
duo.
off. Yeah. Something throws something off about it. It's a little too, I don't know.
Yeah, we joke that Gwen Stefani is our Latinx appropriation queen, but I feel like Ariana Grande is running on her coattails in terms of how quickly her presentation ethnicity-wise changes. She goes from Latina X to white woman in the blink of an eye.
Somebody saying bleach brows for drag because when you glue them down,
It's easier.
Yeah. Or when you glue them down, you don't have to like. When you do everything, like sometimes like the makeup picks up and like whatever, and it just I don't know. But I just would rather shave them off. I love shaved. That's my answer.
There you go.
Shave off your brows. That's a cuter look.
Speaking of brows, what do we think of like I call them angry brows when you paint
Like
a
Cochina
brow, they
Rude.
go, yeah, and Chucha. I feel
Mhm.
like Alaska also does that.
Yeah.
Like a very angry brow. What do we feel about angry? Don't talk to me till I had my coffee brows.
I love it. I don't think I could ever pull it off. Something about when I do it, I always try and go by like my brow bone or like I don't know. There's some geometry that goes on in drag that I just don't want to like go all the way up.
Yeah.
I just have like a balance that I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
It took me a long time. I remember just, you know how like brows are uneven and just I would draw, I don't know.
Cousins,
brows scare
sisters.
me.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. It took me, I credit drag for helping me master my brows as much as I have. And I credit Katya specifically, not Smirnoff Sky, but your daddy calls me Katya, was on Hey Queen, who also very much inspired this show way back in the day. And Katya talked about the geometry of the brow and how she maps out the 3 points. Mm-hmm. And that's how she does her brow. And that helped me unlock my cunty little brow. Because I'm a 90s teenager and I plucked most of it away. What do we feel the TikTok girlies are just picking up on the stage/drag tip of face tape? How do we feel about face tape?
I've tried it once, like that 2022 Oaklash. That was like me doing face tape for like the first time. I think it's so... Like, I get it. It adds like that small little lift that makes a huge difference. But at the same time, I'm like, I could do without it.
I feel like also, the pain isn't worth the I mean, the payoff isn't worth the pain.
No, but even somebody brought it up on a different show. It was like, and I feel it. Like, I just know when I did it the first time, like, you know, you're just pulling something back. And then by the end of the night, it's just like deflated. Ow. And just like, ugh. No, like I'm picturing myself, even now, just like, you know, plucking every eyelash from like taking off my lashes and like the abuse I put my face through that when I'm like 40 my face is just gonna look deflated and I'm not trying to like do fillers. I'm gonna do the Drew Barrymore route and like age gracefully. Don't quote me on that, but like I want to see what
I'm trying.
You know, I just no. We put our face through so much abuse already in drag that I'm just like, no, I'm not. The jig is up.
Yeah, sometimes I'm on Zoom calls and like I see this and like I freak out for half a second, but then I also see, and this is kind of weird, but I see my grandfather, my abuelo, who's like one of my favorite people in the world, and he's no longer with us. And so to me, if I were to freeze this away, I almost feel like I'm losing him in the process. But I don't know. Don't quote me. I might show up frozen one of these days.
And even then, I'm like looking at, you know, the girls with like already big lips, just getting like lip filler or whatever. And I'm like, I have pretty, you know, big lips already. I'm just like, no. I'm not getting caught up in that.
You're good there. Yeah, you don't need the All-Stars lips.
Right.
Yeah, you're good. Speaking of All-Stars, what do we think of super minimal makeup? I don't think that's All-Stars. That was more just last season.
Yeah, you mean like the Marsha? It doesn't work like when you're supposed to be on stage.
Yeah.
Like even
it's Instagram, not stage.
Yeah. Like even the way I paint my face, I just know like if I were to go on the stage at Oasis, like a lot of it's gonna get washed out. Like I just can't paint like contour or highlight crazier than what I feel comfortable with. Yeah. But that's kind of like drag is supposed to be like bigger than like normal.
Yeah, I mean, and makeup in general too. There's something about stage lighting too. I've noticed it just on this podcast myself that I feel like I'll walk in the door with a very severe blush and then I look at the edit, I'm like, I barely see it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That is Slay or Fade makeup trends. Now we have our final game.
Is this Kiki Kai Kai Kill?
No, I actually I'm gonna give the kids a break from being Kiki Kai Kai'd and pilled. Actually, first of all, before we go to our last game, we have questions from Internetlandia.
Yeah.
So I, for every episode, put out a call. If anybody has any questions for our sweet little guests, I have a few questions for you. First off, Holden from Wood. What are some things you find fulfilling about producing?
Free drinks. No, I think a fulfilling thing about
free
producing.
Drinks.
Yeah.
The booze.
the connections, like a lot of networking. Like I just think of, Oaklash is like a big network for local and national / international.
Yeah.
So like even, me and Celeste are going to go to Bushwick, bring a little Oaklash to Bushwick this year. And this is my first Bushwick and my second time in New York. So I like the idea that I'm, producing and traveling, like having not been on a show.
And
like,
when is that?
Right. September.
Cute.
September 11th.
Cute. Terrorizing New York one drag queen at a time.
The Twin Towers are coming back.
What is it? Pissing off people, 2 founders at a time. Okay, we have another question for you. Well, it was more of a statement. I have a question. Angel from Cakes. Please tell her she left her top here when she filmed Crumble. Now, I want to know, is this top a blouse or a person?
No, I'm the top.
So you left yourself at Crumble?
Actually, it's one of these. It's from H&M, but it's like the leopard print one that just looks. I was like literally looking in my room and like that pile of clothes.
Where
Like,
is that?
we all have that pile.
Yeah.
Like we just can't find anything. But it's.
My dog likes to sit on it.
I'm thankful that it's like somewhere, and I just didn't lose it. Well, I did, but like it's somewhere.
Found.
It's found.
It's lost and found. Last but not least, Mama from Celeste. How dare you?
I was gonna ask that. When you said we're gonna answer questions, like, where do you get off? How dare you? Who are you?
How dare you? Who raised you? A barn full of animals.
She dared me. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Celeste dared me to start Oaklash, and we did.
There you go. And a beautiful partnership was born from there. All right. Last but not least, work or brain rot. I'm just going to tell you something that's going on. You're going to tell me if it works or if it's brain rot.
Okay.
How do we feel about the Barbie movie pissing off conservativos?
What was the work? Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
I've not seen it yet, though.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Can I take you on a date? I'll take you out.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I opted to watch Oppenheimer.
Why does
on
that track
Friday.
for me?
Because I knew that Barbie was gonna sell out everywhere, so I was like, well, Oppenheimer's like the second best thing, and it's at Grand Lake, and it's in the big theater, so I was like, it's that kind of movie where you should see it in the big theater.
Yeah.
They hyped it up so much, but I went to see it with my friend Samir, and we were just kind of like,
Womp womp.
well, kind of, but we were like laughing at certain points, like that.
The
movie's
inappropriate
funny.
parts?
No, that movie's so funny because it's just so long. We were like checking in after the movie and be like, so did you take a nap too at some point? Like we, that like 10-second nap where you're just like,
I'm not asleep.
Like I think we tracked it to like 2 hours and like 15 minutes into it. We're just like,
Oh my God.
and that movie's just like ridiculous. And like the bomb going off was like not like I was expecting Terminator 2, like, practical effects, like everything melting, but it was just like this giant ball of fire. Sorry to spoil it.
No, that was
but,
Oaklash 2020.
this giant ball of fire in slow motion. That's literally, we're sending our cease and desist to Christopher Nolan because of that.
Alameda Theater, it's super cute. They have it right now in the big theater with the big
Yes.
comfy couches. Barbie movie, come on. Erykah Badu shading Beyonce. The Minion has thoughts. Does the Minion have thoughts? So Erykah Badu basically posted side-by-side pictures of Beyonce's current tour outfit, because Beyonce, very much like a good drag performer, is switching up her outfits for all the different tour stops. And so Erykah posted a side-by-side of her in like a big silver hat and Beyonce in a big silver hat. And like, I guess I'm inspiring everybody these days.
Because I'm everybody's fashion
Inspiration.
stylist. Yeah.
What do you think, Minion?
Well, what I do know behind the scenes is Erykah Badu has a quote unquote DJ career, but what she does is she hires somebody else to do the DJing for her, and she just selects which songs. So maybe she should stick to what she does best, and that's making music and healing people and being positive and stay in her own line, because she could never do what Renaissance has done for the community. I'm so sorry.
Work.
But one's work and the other's brain rot.
There we go. We're getting the gist of the game. So I feel like this is, I don't know. I don't think it's either work or brain rot. It's something else. Unfortunately, our body positive queen
Yeah.
has some very serious allegaciones happening right now. Is this news to you too also? So Lizzo currently has some pretty serious allegations. Any thoughts?
It's just so funny. Like I'm on Twitter, just minding my own business, and then just like, how your feed just like comes up. Like, people just like memeing like without context, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, people saying like, oh, I guess the rumors are true, and like, just like everybody.
Oh my god, I didn't see that.
And like, I have no context to it, but like the comment sections are going off. Like, Twitter's its own like
ecosystem.
Yeah, that I'm just like dipping in for porn, but then I like see everybody commenting like without context. I have no idea what this joke means or whatever, but like until it hits Pop Crave and like that level of it, yeah, I was gagged that they pulled like an old radio interview of her in Amsterdam talking about she wanted to go to the banana pussy poppin' eating shows. And everybody's like, see, look at her. She's admitting to it there. Well, that'll be interesting. Yeah. I think part of it is brain rot, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little brain rotty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like
it's very weird.
Because, Lizzo's such a big name that like, I'm not the biggest Lizzo fan, but, seeing it happen and like seeing like, the fandom and just like, because a lot of that, I want to say like celebrities that are kind of from like a certain year to now, if a lot of it's just on the internet, then, their career can either go like really up and down. If you are like pre-internet, you're kind of fine, I guess.
Yeah.
There's some like millennial Gen Z disconnect, and this is like a very Gen Z like, oh, we can tear this person down easily. Well,
and we are in this semi post Me Too era, right? Where let's say 10 years ago, nobody would have batted an eye that she's taking dancers out to strip clubs and asking them to do inappropriate things, because it's kind of like what was part of the deal of like being in Hollywood, right? And like being around these people. And now that we're realizing that people should be able to have agency and be able to have, the right to say no to things and not have their careers be hurt because they say no, which is a big part of the lawsuit, is that these dancers are alleging that basically these extracurricular activities would happen that people weren't mandated to be at, but if they didn't show up, there was some repercussions to not showing up and not partying and not having a quote unquote good time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah. And like, I'm just going to say like, oh, there's probably going to be more accusations or like something like, this is like one thing and then it's going to snowball into like people coming out more and more.
Yeah. I mean, it usually does. Most people that experience trauma aren't usually very comfortable with expressing said trauma, especially when there's power imbalances. And once people have a safer space to express themselves, then they might come out the closet. Another industry that seems to be ruminating, trying to possibly have a bit of a revolution, but I don't know how well it's going to happen, especially given the current writer's strike and the Hollywood strike. Bethany Frankel is trying to create a reality TV union. She feels that reality TV stars are not well compensated. They don't get residuals. Their likeness basically is owned forever and ever. They fuck up, right? And then it gets captured and memed, and they basically 20 years down the line don't have anything to show for it, is Bethany's argument. What do we think about that?
I think there's a lot that goes into a union.
Yeah.
And if reality stars were going to be part of it, I don't know. There's something about like when it's you, like as I guess comparing it to like an actor. I don't know. Like I was listening to Meatball talking about how, drag union was like, and she had some thoughts on it. And I was like, oh shit, like she made some great points of like, well, if you start a drag union, you're gonna have to change your, you know, costume, like whatever, you know, there's like so much that you have to do as like your own personal drag persona that you know, there's like a lot of it, you know, paying dues and stuff like that. Like as a reality star, I don't know, like I haven't never even watched any of the Housewives shows, or like,
Well, it made me think of the talks of unionizing drag.
yeah,
Which is why I thought it was interesting. And to me, I feel like reality stars would probably unionize before drag does.
well,
and I don't see them
everybody
doing it
needs to,
anytime
like,
soon.
really put Andy Cohen in his place. Like
Yeah.
if he's like, I think they're looking at it through that is like, this one person is doing the most with what these women are doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, just I feel like in terms of that, like Bravo should have a union for like all those housewives.
Yeah, I mean, they just need better contracts. Bethany has talked about how now there's a Bethany clause that she was able to make them not have a percentage of her businesses. And now anybody that comes on Bravo and NBC owns a percentage of your business if you promote it on the show. What do you have thoughts there?
I just think it's interesting. I believe that this person's bringing up this union because of the CGI act when those people sold away their souls to CGI monsters. That's one thing. But growing up as a black person, the only thing I really care about when it comes to reality TV is how they dehumanize and they demonize black and brown people. Reality, love and hip hop once made me, I was in middle school trying to be Miss Petty. I was trying to be the most pettiest piece of shit in the world because I thought that's how black successful people act. And I was over here trying to start all this drama and petty shit. And I had a teacher, thank God, Dolores Thompson, #1 radio broadcaster in South California,
Come on, Dolores.
took me up from my ear and was like, no, you don't act like that. That's not what real black people do. And like, but I'm able to know from outside the TV screen, but there's a whole lot of people that look at that and then will call black people all types of slurs thinking that that's how we actually are.
Yeah.
Especially with Baddie Girls being hosted at the Marriott Hotel right over here down the block.
Yeah. On that tone, the last item that I have, Miss Nene Leakes was on Carlos King's podcast, and they touched a little bit on the union, but another thing that she talked about is how she, in her cunty opinion, she thinks that she should be bigger than Kim Kardashian. In her opinion, her and Kim K were coming out at the same time. They both had shoe dazzle deals. She mentioned that back then on Housewives, you couldn't really talk about your businesses, but on Kardashians, that's all they talk about. And so Miss Nene Leakes, go to bed wig, feels, in her cunty opinion, that she should be bigger than Kim Kardashian. Do we have any thoughts? I saw a guffaw behind the camera. And we're back. So our last little topic of the day, work of brain rot. Miss Nene Leakes on Carlos King's podcast, in her cunty opinion, thinks that she should be bigger than Kim Kardashian. What do we think?
Why not? I just remember
Work.
back in those like that was actually what I remember watching that show when it was like when they lived in that ugly ass house in Calabasas, right?
Yes.
And I just remember the first time I ever saw Kim Kardashian was on a cover of Latina magazine.
Oh.
But there was like no article in it. She was just on the cover.
On the cover.
I wish I still had it because it was
That's
so
iconic.
gaggy. I was like, who is this? Like, and I didn't even know she was like, you know, Rob Kardashian's daughter, and you know, like the whole history of like that family.
Yeah.
And I still didn't get it. I was like, oh, she's like the daughter of a lawyer, and like a famous Hollywood lawyer from this trial, and that was, yeah. And then the sex tape came out or something, and I was like, oh, like, but she's not like Paris Hilton famous or something, you know. It was like that, and then I don't know, like her mom, you know, work. Yeah.
The Satan works hard. Kris Jenner works harder. Do you have any thoughts on Kim Kardashian, Nene Leakes? Nene Leakes feeling that, in her cunty opinion, she should be bigger than Kim Kardashian?
I mean, no, not really, because I mean, they also kind of came from old money, and like, I mean,
The Kardashians, you mean?
yeah, and respectfully, I mean, yeah, Needy is Nene Leakes, but Miss New York is the queen of reality TV show. I'm sorry, but what Miss New York did on the Flavor Flav will forever be embedded of how I'm going to win Snatch Game. So it's just like,
Word.
no, but like, I have always due respect for Nene Leakes and any black or brown woman who has pioneered in TV and entertainment so I could be here. But there's also other pioneers who kind of also deserve that same talent and fame for not really having that much talent.
I know that's right. Well, thank you, both of you, for sharing your cunty opinions. Please stay hydrated if you've been playing the drinking game. Please, my sweet, sweet angle, Beatrix Lahaine, tell my amazing viewers and listeners where they can find you.
Well, I'm doing summer camp next weekend, I think. I don't know. This summer is so crazy. And then Tragic Queendom is at the Stork Club. I still have to schedule the next show, but it's always on a Wednesday. Some Wednesday this month, next month, the month after. And then we're not going to be there, but Oaklash Pride is happening during Oakland Pride weekend. One of them. I don't know. Oakland Pride is so wild that I think they just combined the two now officially.
Yeah.
Oakland Pride and Oakland. What's the other one?
Is
Oakland
there like
Pride
the
Fest or something?
Huh.
But it's happening that weekend, September 11th. Fun times. I think it's happening at Fairyland again. So
Cute.
yeah, be on the lookout for that. We're still like running around trying to organize it.
Well, look me in if I can help in any way.
Yes.
Also, if there's ever any board openings,
And please remember to click subscribe and like.
we're not done. My God. I have it here. I love my minion. You know what? 2 points for the minion in the back. 2 points. That was very angel cakes of you, and I like that, but I'm not Phoebe. And also just social media wise, where can they find you?
Beatrix Lahaine at Beatrix Lahaine on everything. I think I even am on TikTok just because I just, wanted to have that name on it so nobody takes it. Like that's how Oaklash is always changing our Instagram handle because like somebody, I think it's a bot, but like somebody has at Oaklash and we can't, I know they just don't want to sell it to us.
Oh my God. Homophobic assholes. Okay. Well, thank you, Minion, for the reminder. We are on YouTube. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify, all hosted through Libsyn.com. Thank you, Libsyn. If you are listening to this podcast, please come over to YouTube. We're super cute. You can see us, our cute little faces. If you're on YouTube watching, grab your friend's computer, open up Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the Series of Fortune events. They'll thank you later. What else am I supposed to do as an influencer? Like,
where can they also find you on
subscribe.
Instagram so they can see behind the scene photos of my feet?
So for the Sayer foot cam, you can find me on Instagram. It's going to be MeMeCherry IG. On Twitter, it's MeMeCherry. On TikTok, it's some version of MeMeCherry because I think somebody got to it there first. I'm also on Threads. Are we doing Threads?
Right. I deleted my app. I didn't delete the account because apparently if you delete your account, it deletes your Instagram as well.
Oh.
But I wouldn't use it. No.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I know. Threads feels like the party that's trying to happen.
It's like the kids bop to Twitter.
It's giving Candy Muse Alone in the VIP.
Yeah.
Yeah, very that. SOFEpod.com/merch. We have cute little pillows. There's t-shirts. There's glasses. There's mugs. One of these days, I'm going to partner up with somebody that can help me make a cock ring. The last but not least, I am cooking up in the kitchen. I just pitched it to management today. We're trying to get a cute little live show out of here, Fluid 510. I feel like Halloween, because every baby drag queen, or many a baby drag queen, are born on Halloween. So I want to do a Franken Drag live show where 3 performers take over my body. One does my hair, one does my face. That's going to be Beef. I already proposed to Beef last episode. Somebody does my look. I will do my drag debut finally. We'll do a little podcasting in between, have a live audience.
I've always had the idea of as a Halloween costume because I never think of Halloween as like, it's like Buffy, like the vampires take a break on Halloween. Yeah. Drag queens take a break on Halloween for me, like for me especially. But I always thought my Halloween costume would be like first time drag queen. Like I would just have a shake and go, like
baby queen.
Yeah, a baby queen, like
baby queen realness.
Like my makeup would look like first time in drag. Yes. Like I would really want to go as a
category is. much queen for 7 drags. Well, but please drop a comment in the YouTube. Drop a comment on the website. SOFEPod.com is always there for you. SOFEPOD.com. Let us know. Would you come through Fluid 510 and be in the audience and have some fun with us for a cute little Frank and Drag show? I know I would have fun. I know B would have fun. I know that my minion Sayer is going to be doing a good old time. So just come for Sayer. Just come for Sayer. Just come for Sayer as I put my food in your face.
I mean, I was a good pillow. They're good pillows.
Well, with that, we're going to say thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me.
Same bat time, same bat channel, right?
MeMeCherry, reason.